It is my privilege today to welcome to the show California mom and attorney Erin Friday, who is a leader of the parent advocacy group Our Duty. They work to really support parents who are facing the issue of gender identity with their children. Erin, thank you for the work that you're doing and for joining us on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So let's start with your family's story. I know you all have journeyed through this. That's what brought you into this advocacy space of talking about the issue of transgenderism. What happened in your own daughter's life that she started to get interested or became introduced to the idea of being transgender?
Well, it really started for my daughter in 7th grade when she went to her comprehensive sex ed class at her public school. And unbeknownst to me, a third party comes in and teaches these kids for 5 hours, so an hour each day. And 1 hour was dedicated to gender identity with the genderbread man and all of the kind of pictorials of you could have a female body and a male brain. And so the seed was planted after that class. And in fact, all of her friends, there were 5, sat in my front yard saying what their new labels were. And none of them chose, the boring cis, which is a made-up term in and of itself, but they all picked something on the alphabet because it's not cool to be, a boring white girl. That's how I took it. And I was alarmed by the language that they were using, including pansexual, which is not, a term that 11-year-olds should know. And in fact, I didn't know what it meant, and I had to look it up. So that was kind of the first entry point for what happened to her.
So that sounds pretty immediate. I mean, she has this class in school, and then it was right away that she and all of her friends were sort of saying, hey, we don't want the label of female anymore. We're going to pick new labels.
Yes, but I didn't know how important that moment was.
Okay.
Later I did because I went to the parenting class because I thought, well, what are they learning at school? And what gobsmacked me also was, I was a volunteer at this school. I knew all the teachers by name. I got the volunteer award, So I was in the classroom all the time. And so I was really confused why these teachers who I considered friends would be teaching this nonsense. And that's when I learned that a third party comes in. And then I went to that third party's class. And that's when my eyes really opened up to the lies that they're teaching our kids at school. In that class, they talked about males being G.I. Joe and females being Barbie, and that there's a spectrum in between. And, of course, my hand shot up and said, well, then are we all trans? Because there is no such thing as a Barbie and G.I. Joe. They gave out a page with all these different gender identities, demi-boy. I mean, most of them they just didn't make any sense. And of course, my hand keeps shooting up saying, this doesn't make any sense. Don't we teach our children just to be? Why are we putting them in boxes? Why are we labeling them? Why are we introducing sexual language? And I was pretty much told to be quiet. And, what